There is a passage in the Quran. It is dedicated to those that will receive the mercy of Allah on the Day of Judgment. And the title of it is وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. It is basically meaning those that will receive the mercy from Allah on the Day of Judgment. Okay? So as a Muslim, when you're reading the Quran, this is actually a really good place to start, right? Any person wants mercy on the Day of Judgment because none of us are perfect. We all have our shortcomings. And so as a Muslim, your duty is always to seek forgiveness and look to be among وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, those slaves that will receive the mercy of Allah. Now, one of the conditions, or one of the groups, main group, that will receive the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment are those وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَدْعُونَ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَا يَزْنُونَ. A group of these people are those that do not make shirk or do not make associations of partnership when worshipping Allah. So one God, monotheism, pure monotheism, we only worship Allah. So the people that will receive mercy on the Day of Judgment are those that worship Allah entirely. وَلَا يَقْتُلُونَ النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ, and they do not commit murder, do not kill those that are innocent. Muslims will not receive the mercy of Allah. Mercy, they won't be from this group of people on the Day of Judgment that will receive the mercy of Allah if they kill an innocent person. وَلَا يَزْنُونَ, and they do not commit fornication. People do not have sexual relations outside of marriage. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ يَلْقَى أَثَامًا, and whoever does this, Allah says in the Quran, will for sure be among those that will be sent to hellfire. يُضَاعَفْ لَهُ الْعَذَابِ, and on that day, that Muslim that committed the sins that did not give him the mercy on the Day of Judgment, his punishment will be multiplied. So, if while you're watching TV, you see somebody take the Shahada, or say that they're a Muslim, and then go and commit atrocities in the name of Islam, remember this passage is authentic. You can open the Quran and read it. Everybody knows it, and everybody memorizes it. So this is something very important. Multiplied the punishment for those Muslims that go against, because you knew it was wrong. You knew you were not supposed to do that, and yet you did it. And you did it, and you said you were Muslim. The punishment will be multiplied. But another component is in our religion is that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows His mercy. Okay? So the passage goes on and talks about those that will receive the mercy. And so this is an important point that I wanted to add. So remember this passage. The next time you hear anybody or any Muslim do anything in the name of Islam that does not make any sense, it is wrong. Remember this passage. Okay? Thank you.
Excuse me, I want to add on this hot topic. You know, terrorism is something that is all the time happening and takes the attention of the media. And it is serious because it's related to our safety and people's safety. I want to mention two things. This kind of activities are not only rejected from Islam, it's also rejected from Muslims. And Muslim people are #1 victims of terrorism. You can check this in the history. You can check this now. Those people who do these type of activities, terrorism and killing people, they start with us. And that's happening in Syria, that's happening in Iraq, that's happening in Afghanistan, that's happening in Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of events when this happened. People are Muslims, this is happening in sometimes in mosques, in the place that it is for worshipping, the place that it should be the most safest place, the place that we should be feeling safe. They bomb our mosques. So we are victims of them. This is #1. #2, there's no single scholar supporting them. And this is a reality. You can check. No single scholar who is accepted from people, so is knowing as a scholar, is supporting their activities. And this is important. It's not about saying this is from Islam or this is from Christianity. It's about proving that. They are not proving that from our book. They are not proving that from our scholars. So how can they go over our faith and just associate things and just attach things that they believe it in their own ideas and own ideologies? The final thing is about it, terrorism is, how long have you ever heard about terrorism associated with Islam? People who have, I know here, there's some people are going in their 60s, 70s, and whatever. Have you ever heard about this 50 years ago? Or 70 years ago when you were a child? Islam is there 1,400 years. Why this is just appearing in the last 70 or 50 or 20 years? There's something there. We should figure out what is it. And finally, how many Muslim people in the world? 1,300,000,000 Muslim. If the 1% of this big large number are terrorism, how many people you will see? There's a lot. And you can't blame the 99% about the actions that the 1% did it. This is not fair at all. So these 3 or 4 points, I think it's fundamental in proving, or in my perspective, about terrorism and associate this thing with Islam.
Thank you. So now you will take questions. Yes, please.
I wrote the question. So, why is, I appreciate the fact, and I don't doubt at all that you are loving, good, kind people. So are we. And why is the Muslim community not taking care of this problem themselves? I mean, sharing with the poor, you know, being good people is wonderful, and we all try to do that too. But to me, this is a huge Muslim problem. And is the Muslim community taking responsibility for these radical members of, you know, they're giving your religion a bad name.
Yeah.
You speak correct, you speak right, but the decision not from our side, the decision from not the media, our governor, they are support from all the world, and they support this terrorism. You understand me? All our people, as Mr. he said, we go against this regime because he kills the people. What this regime do? He creates this terrorism, and all the world knows that, and all the world support this regime. Now, if you see the media, nobody protects the people. The regime kills the people by muscle, and Russia coming help them, and all this ISIS keep them moving from place to place to kill the people more the regime. If you see that there is a history of this ISIS, they don't do anything against the regime. They do all against the people, the innocent people. You see, so we cannot do anything. You must ask the government in the United States. You must ask the government in Europe. This can do the effect the things. We are so victim. Really, we are victim. We know
That's
this.
What I'm saying.
Yes, you are speak correct.
I feel bad for you because they're giving you a lot.
I agree that there are some involvements happening in this big issue that comes from governments, but I don't blame all the blame. I don't take all the blame on them. We have some responsibility, and I won't mention some of these actions that we did in Saudi Arabia as example, because this is my home country. We have a security actions, and that we did a lot of things, catching them and bringing them to the court, and ending sometimes with the penalty. That sometimes it's come from the court process to have their penalty. And we did this. And you know what? The United States, the American media started blaming us to do that. And this happened when we did this with some people, I don't want to mention names. That's what's happened in the media, in CNN and another portions. And they blame us why we go this far in taking care of these terrorisms. This is number one. Number two, we have some also actions that is related to educating people, which is the most important thing. They are using the lacking of education for their advantages. So they are going to people who are less educated, and they have no idea about real Islam, and they are using them, and they are there. We have 1 billion Muslim. You cannot imagine that all these millions are highly educated, and they know Islam as correct as the most important the most educated people. So they have some people that they are lacking of education, and they are using them, and this is a fact. So the main goal for us, the strategic goal, is to educate people until they become aware about this problem, and they can defend from themselves. They can deal with it. So this is also going on there. But you know what? We have also problem with foreign governments who try to control our activities in education. For example, after 9/11 happened, which is a sad event, the most saddest event that happened in my life. I don't remember something more important than 9/11 in my life. And you know what? After 9/11, a lot of associations, a lot of organizations who take care of Muslims and educate them not to become terrorisms, it's closed. Why? Because someone said that these organizations are supporting terrorism, and this is not the fact. It was the first line in defending the terrorism activities. So when you get someone to learn about the real Islam, he can defend about himself, he can deal with all these type of crazy ideology. And when he becomes less educated, he will be a great goal for those terrorisms. So I believe that we are doing a lot of things in our home countries, but we didn't reach yet the line that will reduce this problem. And we are fighting, and we're still fighting. Part of our fighting is to educate people. Part of our fighting is to catch all these terrorisms and take care of them in the courts in a way that gives them all the rights. But until this time, we need support. And the support which should come from Muslim people and non-Muslim people, because we are facing the same problem.
I just have one more comment. What you have described to me, and I came here knowing nothing about Muslims, but what you described to me as a Christian, it sounds very similar. I mean, my beliefs, we believe in one God who is a God of love. We believe in a God who created everything and who predetermined our life, and the God that we all expect to answer to on our day of judgment. And none of us sitting here want to go to hell. So I think we have found, at least I feel like we have found a common, I mean, it's like two books teaching basically the same principles.
It's from the same gods.
the same God, but, I don't not believe in you, that you have a God, and I hope that you trust and believe that we have a God, and we are all loving people, that we don't want this to be happening in our world. I mean, I'm almost 70 years old, and I cannot believe what is going on on this planet. And I feel, just from sitting here tonight, I feel bad for you people, because you are bearing burden of people looking at you. I wrote all of the questions, actually. And the question was, I am uncomfortable with you. Are you uncomfortable with me? And I am no longer uncomfortable with you. But I can't say that I felt that way when I came here. So I think, like you're saying, if this is education, then we all need to do more of it, because these are scary, scary times for you.
Well, like we're saying here with Syria, I'm thinking he's a fear for his family.
650,000
I
people.
can see this, and why, the only thing I don't know is why Muslims, to me, is that you're thinking that they're attacking your own people. This is what I'm having a hard time figuring out. He's in fear for his family in Syria.
They're using your
I am from Syria. My son is still stuck in my home for 3 months. No contact, no internet, no water, and the bump to the road. And every day I pray for God he couldn't go outside. I will cry when I will speak about it.
But then there's the Muslims
My
are the
kid,
ones
I
that's
don't see
trying to hurt you.
because our regime, they surrounded them, and Russia and all the world helped Assad. Nobody look at the people. So that we are.
There's a global interest
Yes.
that's involved in this problem. There's a global interest who don't even care about people.
Yes.
Yeah, but again,
This is a problem.
as you said, we all come books from the same God. Our religion is about love. Make no sense to have a religion about hate. I don't get it. And if you think about it, make no sense to have a religion about hate. So if you have any questions other than that, let's just.
Yeah,
I would like to really hear from your questions, please.
Let me ask something.
Yes, please.
Just for clarification's sake, in the Muslim faith, how are you actually saved? How are you saved from damnation? In the Christian faith, we say that we're saved simply by the grace of God. That we can add basically nothing to the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. But in the Muslim faith, I see the 5 pillars, but I don't have a good understanding of how you're saved. Is it by keeping those? Is that, you know what I mean?
You mean the save in this word?
Save or save?
Okay, can I respond?
Sometimes the lingo doesn't translate over. It's okay. Saved and not like PDF saved on your doc, no. Save my email, no. Salvation. So how does someone on the day of judgment go? How did you differentiate between those that are going to go to hell and those that are going to go to heaven? And so this is, okay, just to be, I'm always in awe when I'm around this man, mashallah, because he has memorized the whole Quran. And his level of knowledge is a lot higher than mine. Nevertheless, this is a simple question and I would like to try and give it a try, but if I, obviously, you can always interject. Whoever has number 1 down, on the day of judgment will go to heaven, okay? But it's not black and white. Or, I mean, it's not clear cut. That's not the only thing. You can't just say the shahada and then go to heaven. You have to also believe it, okay? So on the day of judgment, to be saved, salvation, whoever believes that there is no God worthy of worship and worships Him, that there's no God to be worshipped other than Allah, the one that created you. There's no risk factor. Just say to yourself, whoever created me, whoever created this universe, everything around me, everything that I owe thanks to, hamd, The person, the one that has created me and I owe complete thanks to, whoever that may be, I put my head down, I worship him alone. And I believe that he has given us an example, Prophet Muhammad, to follow. So that way I can, if I have any questions, they can be answered on what to do on a daily basis. If you believe the Shahada, these two things, on the Day of Judgment, we believe you will go to heaven. Now, there are examples of people, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of Muslims around the world. But just, let's say for example, there's a Muslim that believes in the Shahada, that believes that there's no God but God, and that Prophet Muhammad is his last messenger. Will he go straight to heaven even if he commits atrocities? Or let's say that he has sexual relations with every single woman that passes by in his life? Or, I mean, if he commits fornication, if someone steals on a daily basis but has the Shahada, does he go to heaven? That's not necessarily the case. And this is the second point that I would like to come to, which is I think the best way to explain it is that on the Day of Judgment there will be a mizan, or a scale. And your good deeds will be put on one side and your bad deeds will be put on the other side. And every single Muslim has this on the Day of Judgment. So you can't be doing bad all your life and believe that there's no God but Allah and that his last messenger is Prophet Muhammad and expect to go to heaven if you have a bag full of sins. So there will be a mizan. And we also believe that anytime you commit a sin, you will have to go to hell for that sin. But we also learn that Allah, our Creator, is the most merciful. I would like to give you an example of His mercy. In the Quran, in Surah Al-Fatiha, the first chapter, Allah says that He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. He is the most merciful, the most ever merciful for a long period of time. And Mufassirun, people that try to explain or elaborate on the Word of God. This is the Word of Allah, all right? It's perfect in its language, its religion, its text. Some of the Mufassirun, the people that explain this, say that Ar-Rahman are like the waves in the sea, the high waves in the sea, and Ar-Rahim is like looking at the sea when it's completely level, no waves. So Allah is the most merciful, ever merciful for your entire life. Can you imagine a sea that has high stormy waves and is flat at the same time? You can't. So in the same way, you cannot imagine the mercy of Allah. You cannot. He is Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. If you can think of something that's merciful, multiply by 100. It's beyond that. But also, on the flip side of things, and I think we share that, God is most merciful. On the flip side of things, you need to know that the next verse in that chapter says, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the ruler, He is the king of the Day of Judgment, and He is the most just of rulers. So, what does justice mean? Somebody that's bad, yeah.
She's trying to translate your question. She's saying, oh, no.
So,
I understand your question.
She's saying that your question. Look, we're going through a lot of people. She says that she's like, oh, I thought he asked that. Why is it that Muslims wake up a little bit grumpy and they see the world in a negative way, and you guys, on the other hand, don't? Is that the question? No. Okay. So we're talking about salvation. All right. So remember, He is the most merciful. Nevertheless, He is the most just. So bad deeds will be taken into consideration. Good deeds will be taken into consideration. But mercy is just Allah. Allah is the most merciful. Okay.
My question is, I had seen you had Jesus on there and didn't address Jesus. As a Christian, I feel that I had accepted Jesus' death for my sin, and that is why I live the way I do. I follow His teaching, God's teaching, but it's through the belief that Jesus Christ died for my sin that actually will allow me to go to heaven.
Okay.
And so you are talking more by works. I'm talking more by belief, is how I feel the difference. Because even in the Bible, it's in the New Testament. I don't know whether you believe as much of the New Testament as you do the Old, but it states right in there, for by grace are you saved through faith, and not of your works, lest any man should boast. And so I'm just wondering the difference between the Christian and the Muslim.
This is a good question. So the topic of discussion now is Jesus alayhi salam, and every single time, I know he might say Isa. Isa means Jesus. So every time he says Isa is Jesus, but the question, the question will be answered.
Okay. I'm happy to figure out the common things that is between us as Muslims and Christian people. But if we go over just pointing the common things, we will end that. So what's the difference? We should also mention the differences. These differences are not about going to fight. It's about to explain what is this matter and what is the other matter. It's not about saying something negative for any party. We don't believe that Jesus is a God or the Son of God. We believe that Jesus is only a human who is a messenger, peace be upon him, and he didn't die yet. He didn't die yet. This is our belief. We believe that this person, peace be upon him, is a messenger from God, and he's a perfect example for us. And at a certain time, Jewish people tried to kill him. Jewish people tried to kill him. There's a lot of things that's going on in the history. I'm not able to go over the details. But Jewish people, for specific reasons, they tried to kill him. And God saved him and take him to the heaven. And there's a time he will come down in the earth before the last of the day, before the earth is ending, and he will be accepting the message of Islam. So this is our belief about Jesus. So I want to be clear about this. And also, we believe that Jesus, like all the prophets, received the message from God, and he replayed this messenger for people. And he's a perfect example, but he's one of many prophets, and there's no differences in terms of being a human.
Do you believe that Jesus came from Mary?
Yes, we do. And we do believe that Mary, when she came with Jesus, she didn't have a husband. So this is a miracle. And we believe in this miracle. And there's a whole chapter in Quran that is about the birth of Jesus and the miracle about that.
Do you guys believe in eternal life? Forever?
After that?
Yeah.
After that, yes. Yes, we do believe in this. Absolutely we do. So, and I want to comment on Hisham's point when he said, when you become saved, when we in our belief that the key of Islam is the first one, when you accept that there is no God worth to worship except Allah or God, and you only worship Him, and you accept the message of Muhammad as a final messenger, and this is the key of entering Islam. But you cannot be in heaven unless you do the other four things. You can come, when you mention it in Islam, this is, and we don't pay too much attention for this because we believe in the justice of God. So He knows what you did, and He is the most, and He's the one who justified. So most just, who will reward you on your good things, and he will punish if necessary on the bad things. And his mercy is coming from the things that you did that is not related to people. So, if I do something bad to Hisham, I can't guarantee that the mercy of God will cover me on the aspect that is related to Hisham. I got his money, or I got something, I did something wrong to him. This is not covered from the God's mercy. The God's mercy is covering the things that's related to God. So this is part of justice. I mean, justice and mercy are coming in the same place, and it's not separated in our faith. So as long as we mention and emphasize the mercy of God, we also emphasize the justice at the same time. So you are responsible for the good and the bad things. So if one is accepting Islam and the messenger of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has the key, but we don't know when he will be eligible to go to the heaven. This maybe take long time until he is eligible for that. But if he go over the 5 things, this is a great position that Messenger Muhammad said, if you go over the 5 things and did it, whatever you can do, this will be saved for you. So I hope that I answered your question clearly. Yes.
Did Muhammad write the Quran? And did he write other books as well?
What we believe, Quran was revealed through Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel. Right. So he didn't write it because he was totally illiterate. He didn't go to school. So whatever the angel instructed him, he just memorized and then he wrote it. That's
Were there other books too?
No. Only Quran came through Prophet Muhammad. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm unclear in the differentiation and the importance of the Torah and the Quran. What's the difference between those 2 books?
So in brief, the answer of the question is the Torah was the revelation for people that time. Right?
Version.
Right? Just like we believe that the Bible is a revelation for the people of Jesus' time. Peace and blessing be upon them.
Okay.
What we believe, Prophet was the last messenger, and the revelation is for the people who will exist now, or who is existing now. This is all we believe. Because just to mention one thing, there are a lot of scientific science in Quran. Science, it took 1,000 years to prove, like very miracles in Quran. So if the Quran was revealed, 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago, people didn't understand anything, right? So depending on the circumstances and the situation, God is definitely smarter than me and you. He was keep sending revelation depending on the people in generation. Yeah. Questions, concerns? Yes.
Where in the Quran is it written that you hear on the news? Of course, I'm going by the news. That an individual will be rewarded in heaven with 72 virgins if he kills a non-believer or something.
I don't know. I don't know any verses in the Quran. It is said that if you will go to heaven if you kill someone, rather than
as a martyr. There you go.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. That is one thing I think. Thank you, Dan, for saying that. We have heard that these horrible things you have to do, and we heard they were written in the Quran or the Torah, and that was how you would get to heaven.
But if you are a martyr for Allah, then you will go to heaven. I mean, this is what we have been told by.
Yeah.
Let me answer another way. So when Prophet Muhammad he came 1400 years ago, right? So before he came, the people who believe Bible will go to heaven. Crystal clear, right? Crystal clear.
Yeah, we believe in this, right? So we believe all people who accept Jesus' message before Muhammad's come, are true believers.
Right.
So we don't have any problem
Right.
with that.
And the point is, when Muhammad came, this is a different message that people should accept. That's what we believe.
Right. So nobody can exactly tell how many old or the age of the world of this planet, right? So before the Bible, who believed the Torah came, who believed the Torah, they will go to the heaven, right? So
She said there is a verse in Quran, she knows from the news. If you kill 70 people,
No, if you kill an unbeliever, you're
Unbeliever,
saying
yeah.
you
Yeah.
did something.
Is there any verses? I will mention some fundamental things about jihad. This term refers to the military actions that comes in the state. Whatever the state is, there's a military actions should be coming in place. How I mentioned at the beginning that Islam is a religion who have guidelines for all the aspects of the life, including military actions. So, as a state in Islam, how can we deal with people in the military issues? This is the foundation. In Islam, it is not acceptable to kill anyone in terms of just killing him. Now, if you have a military action that is necessary to go in the place, that is acceptable. But you have to protect innocent people. You have to leave people who have different faiths in their own worship places. You cannot go over them, you cannot control them, and you have no right to change their faith. Even the places that we control, even the places that we ruled in Islam, in the whole history, we didn't change the people's faith. And we didn't control their places of worship. We left everything and we gave them the choice. So they have the choice. If they want to follow the Islam message, they have the right. If they want to keep their faith, they have the right. What? They have to pay something for being part of our community and having the benefit of protection that we provide from them. And this payment is something that you cannot, I mean, it's not something that's significant. I have no idea about the details. So during the whole history of Islam, there's no instructions in Islam, no in Quran, no in the teach of Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, that say you have to change anyone's faith, and nothing about killing any citizens. Now, there's some military actions that is come in. It is necessary to keep our security, to keep our states, and this is mentioned in the Quran. And those versions, those examples that misunderstood and mispresent. Is that answering your question? So this version is.
I'm just curious as to where all of this come from. These 72 versions and all this.
It's simply made up.
Why some? There's no
It's never fair.
It is for no. The 72 versions are a reward for someone who killed as a victim to do something good for his community or to do something good for his Islam. So this is not about killing someone and having the 70 version. It's about the victim. So if Hisham is killed for any reason, while he trying to protect the state, protect his people, protect himself, if someone killed, he will be rewarded for this reward.
Just like the veterans. I mean, trust me, I never killed anybody in my life, so I will go to heaven, inshallah.
Just like this.
Just
There is a verse in Quran. Anybody is killed a person, he will be as killed all the people.
The verse says, so let me, yeah, this is a good thing, the sister just did it. The verse says, if you save an innocent life, you are saving as if you are whole humanity. If you kill an innocent life, as if you are killing the whole humanity. Crystal clear.
So the 72, now I understand. The 72 are rewards for someone who was killed, not killing. Who is killed because he is protecting himself or protecting his people or protecting it happens.
Okay, so
excuse me, I just did a quick research about that. There is like a couple chapters talk about wives in heaven, and like in heaven there is no sin. If like, for example, now if we Muslims, we don't drink wine, we don't drink alcohol, but in heaven it's okay. So it's different, and it's different life in heaven. So even like wives, there is no sin if you have more than one wives or one husband. It's different in heaven. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. I really want to take your attention please just for a second. So there was a question, the question said that how your life changed after 9/11. Is it affected or not? Or how you deal with your non-Muslim friends. So Sister Nastya, want to address the questions? Because in 9/11 I was sleeping in my country, so I don't know what happened.
So yeah, basically one of the questions were, how were you affected by 9/11? And I mean, I was born here and I was raised here, and so many people just assumed I was foreign, first of all, and they assumed that everything the media was saying was correct. So basically I was just a bad person, and it was really hard because I was young too, so it was like I was learning about my faith, so you have to like figure out who's telling the truth, and it makes you question your religion. But the thing is, like, my parents taught me that what the media was saying wasn't correct, and that these people, the media, it always comes back to the media, they were basically trying to target us, and I lost a lot of friends who, because, especially when they found out I was Muslim, because when I was younger I didn't wear my hijab, and like the covering that obviously shows that I'm a Muslim, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I even started wearing my hijab, was because people, once they saw who my mom was, because my mom was covered, they just believed that I was one of the bad people and that one day I would kill them and all this other stuff that wasn't who I was, and I wasn't raised in that mentality like of killing is good or whatever the media says that Muslims do. So basically it did negatively affect a lot of American Muslims to the way they were seen. And I mean, even to this day, like, it's been 15 years and people still believe that we're bad and that we have all these negative characteristics about us. And I think it's just about spreading the word, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I answered your question. Is that what you asked me? Yeah, okay.